Yo, what's up, Isham? What's up, Tim? We're having a bad day? Why is that? I mean, it does happen to all of us, though. Yo, what's up, Josh? How you doing? What's up, Darkborn? Nice to see you, man. What's up, Baldwin? Nice to see you, dude. Alright. Well, honestly, I was planning on using the same build as last time, just because I really like this setup, and I kind of push it a little further, like, you know, like getting more used to the hand swap. Let me do that. Customers giving you hell? Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. Yo, Muda, thank you so much for the Prime resub for 47, dude. Welcome back, man. What's up, Muda? How you doing? What's up, Steve? Hello, this is Chinese restaurant. How can I help you? What's up, Cute? How you doing, man? Almost 4 years? Yeah, I mean, time does fly. What level is best to even the playing field? I'm sorry to say, dude, but Elden Ring is not really the best game to even the playing field. Like, I know, like, in Dark Souls 3 was... like, the setting itself was more fun because, you know... like, you were never really alone in these fights versus gankers and shitters. Like, you always had, like, some help. But yeah, in Elden Ring, no matter which level you decide to play at, it's, you're always going to be by yourself, really. You want Enter Londo 3v3 back? Yeah, I mean... I think Elden Ring would have been great with 3v3s and 2v4 and 2v3s. Well, I think that's what we should have had, you know? It is what it is. Yo, Medios, how you doing, man? It is what it is. So, you know, my best answer that I could give you is try to come up with a build that's sort of broken, like as much as you can, to even the odds a little bit. Wow, that stunned me like instantly. It's so strange. Oh, we do have some help, but they're just skipping straight to the boss. Yo, Kaz, how you doing? Tarnished with add 3v3, no worries. Yeah, for real though. That's so funny that we're in April now. I was expecting, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I was almost certain that Tarnished was going to come out in February, and then March came by. And, you know, we're in April now, and there's still no news for Tarnished. It's crazy, dude. Like, it is pretty crazy. It's like they canned the fucking project. I mean, they didn't, but... like, that is some wild delay. Like, for a small, like, port, that is a wild delay. I mean, I know the Switch 2 is really a terrible platform. But the fact that they're having so much trouble to optimize for it just speaks volume of how terrible of a platform the Switch 2 is. You've never really went into Elden Ring PvP. What do you think is more important in this game, reacting or spacing? Spacing is definitely not as important in Elden Ring as it was in Dark Souls 3. Purely because there's a lot of weapons and attack that have, like, crazy forward momentum, where you don't really need to have tight spacing to, like, to land these attacks or to have these attacks be in range. So like in the end, what's most important is when you land an attack, like what are you gonna do from there? Or when you get attacked, what you're gonna do from there. I think that's more important than spacing in this game. Because Elden Ring doesn't have priority either, so every time you land something, you're not really like, I mean, for most weapons, like you're basically putting yourself at risk every time you land an attack. Like if your opponent like guesses what you're gonna be doing next, like they could either attack out of stun, jump out of stun, and like counter attack you. You know, so it's more important to know like how to manage that over like winning neutral. Like winning, like a good example is like you'll watch like let's say the last year, right? Like, you know, I fought like plenty of different people, and it happens extremely often where I'll barely beat someone that's not very good at all, and I'm winning every single neutral exchange. You know what I mean? Like I'm winning every neutral, but then somehow like the fight is close, you know? And the reason for that is really because there's that guessing game part that's not necessarily as intuitive, a little bit more RNG, and makes fights more even than they should be. Whereas in Dark Souls 3, as soon as you won neutral, it was like a completely defensive endeavor. Like, you know, you won neutral, you were on the offensive, your opponent was on the defensive. Like you were attacking, and your opponent just had to focus 100% on guessing your attack timing. And so it was a very like a fight that was very focused on getting the first clean hit. Whereas in this game, like that's really only part of it, because first of all, you don't have attack combos, so when you do get the first hit, you're not gonna land as significant of a damage portion of your opponent's health bar. So that's to be considered too. So yeah, I'd say that like spacing still exists. Don't get me wrong. Like there's still a neutral game in Elden Ring. It's just that it was more important in Dark Souls 3 for sure. And then the whole like prediction part and knowledge checks are very, very important and constantly present in Elden Ring. Okay, here I'm guessing he's in the hole, so we're probably gonna have to go down here. By the way, the background music that's playing is again the Armored Core 5 soundtrack, so... Okay, I went the wrong way. I haven't fucking done the PvE in this game in quite some time, so I forgot the correct routing. I think I'm not sure if I'm at the right spot. Oh yeah, now I am. Okay, I think I see it. Just double check here. Okay, well, never mind. How many people are there? There's only one guy. Just for okay, this is good, this is good, this is not good. Alright. Okay, the guy is right there with a bunch of items. Get ready for a fight. I can jump here. I think I can, right? You know what? Let's just go and fight him. Is he stuck here? Yeah, he's stuck here. Alright, you know what? Let's leave this poor guy alone. Free stuff? Yeah, I'm good. What's funny about Tarnished Edition is, like, you know, it was a cool little addition, the fact that they announced that, you know, like, oh, cool, like, you know, 2 new starting classes and, you know, a few new weapons and a few new armors. It's like, oh, alright, you know, that's better than nothing. People are fairly, like, positive about an addition like that. And then they nerfed the new classes just so that you guys don't want to be too excited about it, because maybe actually the new classes are not going to be optimal anymore depending on your stat spread. So it's like, okay, well, they nerfed it and then they delayed it. So, like, they did everything possible to make it so that you shouldn't be excited for Tarnished anymore, really. Those were your horse? Yeah, but no one gives a shit about that. Except Reddit. Duskblood being exclusive to Switch 2 is the weirdest thing. Well, I mean, it's really just because the game is basically, like, financed by Nintendo, from what I understand. Like Nintendo, like, paid FromSoft for an exclusivity deal. That's basically like what happened with Sony and Bloodborne. You know, like, Japanese companies are usually pretty tight-knit. So, that's probably what happened. It's just that it happens that, you know, when it comes to, like, Sony and Bloodborne, like, the PS4 for its time was a far better platform than the Switch 2 is for its time, which is right now. We might change area. Maybe heavy knight armor will be alright. Yeah, maybe the armor will be alright. Hopefully it is. Okay, let's move a little bit. Let's actually try invading from here. I think it being a PvP game shows the cognitive dissonance with FromSoft and their own PvP. Yeah, I think that's a very articulate way to put it, Cleve, but I think you're spot on with that. I think you're absolutely right, because, you know, like, having, like, you know, let's just put ourselves into Miyazaki's shoes. So poor us, you know, he's probably barefoot in his shoes, but that, if we put that aside for a second, I could understand, you know, doing an exclusivity deal if it's lucrative for the company, right? Like, if it's a, like, if Nintendo is proposing, like, a good deal and, you know, their platform sells well, you know, like the Switch one sold a lot. So, like, everything so far makes sense on paper. Like, so far everything makes sense. What doesn't make sense is, why do you make this a PvP game? That's the part that doesn't actually make sense. That's like not understanding what the Switch 2 actually is, or what the Nintendo platform actually is. Like, Nintendo is not that competitive platform. Like, if anything, the most competitive platform is usually PC. Like, it used to be, like, consoles and, like, Xbox 360, like, way back. But that's not the case anymore. Like, it's been, for a long time, it's been PC now. PC has always been, in recent memory, like, the competitive place to play. Although, you know, PC has its own, like, set of problems, because PC is usually easier to to cheat and to act, because it's not like a closed platform environment, unlike a Nintendo or a PlayStation, you know? It's much harder to do hard cheats on those platforms. With that being said, what's funny is, like, you know, the hacks that exist for this fucking game, for Elden Ring, on PlayStation are probably even more outrageous than PC at this point, simply because like, I don't think the game has some of the guardrails that protects against a lot of these cheats. Like, for instance, you know, like what Steel was telling me like a little while ago about the way he modified, or the way he had someone like show him how to modify his PlayStation save so that he gets more invasions. And apparently that modification cannot be done on PC because there's a check that prevents that, and that check doesn't exist on PlayStation. So this is just like one example that goes to show that there are some guardrails on PC that don't exist on PlayStation, and so there are some cheats that you can do using your PC, but, you know, modifying the PlayStation save, that you wouldn't be able to perform on, you know, on PC, but you can perform them on PlayStation. It's like, but to be fair, that's the reason why this is possible, is mostly because the PlayStation 4, you used to be able to export your save outside of the PlayStation ecosystem, meaning like you could export your save on a USB key and then port that, you know, plug that USB key in your PC and then modify the save. That's how these cheats are possible. On PS5, you're not able to export your save file outside of the ecosystem, so that sort of cheating cannot actually be done with PS5 saves, only PS4 saves. And, you know, because the game is backward compatible, you know, like all the PS4 players play with PS5 players, and PS5 players can play with the PS4 version of the game as well, which is what we're doing right now. Like, this is the PS4 version, and the reason why you do that is because the game simply runs better on the PS4 version than the PS5 version, weirdly enough, even on PS5. So with all of that being said, technically, if you wanted to make an argument for the Switch 2 being a premier place for PvP games, you could say that the Switch 2 is like a very closed ecosystem. Like, they have a very tight hold, I believe, on their software. In fact, you don't even own the Switch 2. Like, they could like break your console anytime they want. So you know, you could make that argument, I guess. But as far as hardware is concerned, like, it is such a terrible machine for this current generation of platform that it's going to be very hard to justify like making a PvP game exclusive to the worst platform possible, you know? Miyazaki will break your Switch if you don't bow. There you go. Yep, exactly. So close. Trying to get the madness, but let's heal up. I forgot the physics, so we're actually like close to dying. It's unfortunate because I want to kill him, but with the madness hand, but he just keeps spamming, and it prevents me from doing it. So we just have to use the lance, I guess. Pokemon Champions is having performance issues, and that's a turn-based RPG that's only like turn-based battles. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay, we're not getting invasions here. Let's move here to here. I need to not forget, this build does not just have the Madness Hand. I also have these swaps here, which are still pretty good. We can't forget about that. Turn base should be easy to optimize for. Yeah, I mean, because like how optimization works, it's like you can squeeze in like computation, like calculations within a time budget, right? So the more like delay you add to your game, the more like, you know, for the game to like respawn, the more you can like squeeze in stuff that you want the game to do. So like, for instance, if you take the opposite side of the spectrum, like a game like Valorant or like a Call of Duty game, the response time in milliseconds is going to be extremely small because it's highly optimized, and they're squeezing in as much as they can so that the game is extremely responsive and there's as little calculations as possible. Whereas an unoptimized game or a PvE game is not going to go through all that trouble of super optimizing everything. And so, like, the delay difference between, like, a competitive game might be, like, 15 millisecond on the competitive game and, like, 60 millisecond on the non-competitive game. So you see what I mean? Yeah, the game is not very active right now. I'm at 150 again, by the way. So we're gonna change location again. We're gonna go to let's go here. What's the plan today? Oh, I'm just using the same build as last stream. Nothing special. Plans to suffer? No, I don't want to suffer. There you go. A little more action here. Wow, this place again. So far, like, we were only invading here. And it's a fog wall. Yeah, to go back to what Cleve said earlier, you know, like, there's definitely, like, a little bit of cluelessness in the camp of FromSoft. Not to make an exclusivity deal with Nintendo necessarily, but to make that game like a PvP-focused game. Obviously, I don't have anything against the idea of a PvP-focused game, but because the PvP audience is niche, you kind of want to be able to leverage as many potential players as you can, so a PvP game should really be multi-platform because it should be like a niche games. And FromSoft are not they're not new to like doing things for a niche audience. I mean, the whole Armored Core franchise, the team itself, like mechas, that's a niche team. Like, there's not that many people that are interested in big robots. You know, even if the game is well executed, or even if it's a fun game, like, to start with, it's a very niche team. So you want Armored Core 6 to be available on all platforms, or any Armored Core games for that matter. Otherwise, it's not really going to sell a lot, and it's not going to like recoup the development cost as easily. Well, it's the same idea. When you make a PvP game, you don't want to, because it's a niche audience, you don't want to just only have one platform. Because they do that, it's going to be a niche within a niche. Like, when you pick one platform, you're still picking a niche. Like, the niche is going to be Nintendo players. And so, it's fine to make a game for Nintendo players because it's still going to be, like, a large enough audience to be worth it. But if you make another niche within that niche, then it starts to be a little strange in terms of decision making. Yo, what's up, Ash? How you doing? Hopefully I can use that elevator. Otherwise it's gonna take a while to get down there. Maybe we can. Good. Is there only two? No, there's three of them. So one of them is hiding somewhere. I need to be mindful of that. There's a... Oh, look at that. I love how they tried to ambush me, but the host was just so clueless that nothing really mattered. Even Redditors are not excited for Duskblood? Well, the Redditors are not the target audience, though. Like, the thing is, like, that Duskblood game, like, guys, we are that target audience. That's the problem. That's the problem with Duskblood. Like, this game is not technically built, like, it's not made for Redditors. Like, it's made for the PvP crowd, us. And we don't play on Switch 2. There's only like a small section of us here that actually own that platform. That's the issue. Like, it's made for us, but it's on the wrong platform. Like, even if it was a PlayStation exclusive or a PC exclusive, it would still be like pretty much half of our community. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Like, it should be like a multi-platform game. That's the thing that makes no sense. When we talk about, let's say, a game like Bloodborne, Bloodborne appeals to Redditors, it appeals to us, it appeals to everyone that enjoys From Software games. So it doesn't actually matter if it's an exclusive or not. Like, if Nintendo, or if FromSoft came out with a Nintendo exclusive game that was, you know, like, sort of like, you know, a typical Bloodborne or typical Souls game, there would not really be any issue, really. It would... it would be fairly successful, and you know, it would be hard to argue against their decision because, you know, everyone that's on Nintendo would probably get to enjoy it. But now, because it's focused on PvP, like you said, the Redditors are not really so hyped for it because they're not PvP players. That's what doesn't make sense. Yeah, absolutely, Clevy. Yeah, I mean, I think we're on the same page. I mean, I say we're on the same page, but really, like, it really is not that hard to understand. Like we say that and we try to articulate as best as we can, like, why that is the case. But I mean, really, it's not that hard to understand. It's fairly simple, really. Yeah, the niche audience that would support the experimental title. Yeah, pretty much. Supposedly it's a PvPvE. Well, I mean, cause look, technically you could say that this, you know, Elden Ring is also PvPvE, right? Like, technically it sort of is as well. It's just PvEers don't like PvP whatsoever. You know what I mean? So. It just seems like a natural consequence of them not being aware of the scene. Yeah, pretty much. I think you're spot on. You're just answering Alan. Yeah, yeah, because I know you're not like I'm like half in my own head when I talk, so sometimes when I read stuff, I'm not like in your context, guys. You hopped into Bloodborne recently, and so far you're not really liking it. Bloodborne is very different, and it's also very dated performance-wise. Like, Bloodborne really has like terrible performance. Like if you ever get to play online, it's completely unplayable. Like that 30 FPS makes it makes the latency feels like so much worse than what it probably is. Like in Bloodborne, like you're gonna hit someone and like hits are completely dissociated from where you actually are. It's like, you know, you're here on your screen and then you move like over here with like one dodge and then you take a hit and you got hit like as if you were all like still there, you know what I mean? Because the game like takes too much fucking time to update or something because of the 30 FPS. The game is very slow today. I guess I might be a little early though. Like this is 5 p.m. NA time. So 5 p.m. and NA time, people are not back to work yet for the most part. So, you know, like everyone is driving right now. I might be a little early. Great fight. Thank you, Steel. What are we gonna do now? Good fight. Game feels like it's dying in general. Yeah, that's crazy because from what Steel told me last time, he gets a ton of invasion now that he modified his save to search multiple areas at the same time. So the fact that it feels like it's dying is not because the game is actually dying. It's just because the matchmaking is completely awful. That's the worst part. Ah yes, after a long grind at the office, nothing releases me like booting up Elden Ring. You know? This game matchmaking is horrible. Yeah, I think we can... I think with the information that we have right now, I think we can say that that is a fair assessment. I think the matchmaking is objectively pretty horrible. When we, like, especially recently, when we looked at what's possible with, like, a simple modification so that you get more activity, like what, you know, Steel did to his save file, I think we can confidently say that it is a matchmaking problem, something that could easily be fixed if they wanted to, but obviously, you know, like, I'm not expecting the game to change, like, whatsoever. I think what we have right now is the game that we're always gonna get for Elden Ring. There's two of them. Okay, so the fact that he threw a pot tells me that their IQ is above average, at least. What the fuck? No, come on. That's so unfortunate. I never get to invade here, so these little ledges or tinier stairs. Unfortunate. Just very unfortunate. Like, this was a very winnable invasion. Unfortunately, stuff like that happens when you invade like different areas every time. Isn't Mortal Shell a PvE game? Yeah, pretty much. They might introduce PvP at some point, but the way that I think I remember an interview with the Mortal Shell devs. I could be confusing them with another studio, but I think they said at some point that they might consider PvP, like if the game gains traction or if the franchise gains traction. I think they said something like that at some point. Interesting that we get nothing on radar. Okay, there you go. Just one hose there, and there's supposed to be multiple people right there. Player. Good thing that this R2 has a lot of range. It caught his light roll. You wish PvP had more than 4 players? Yeah, I think we all do. The host looked like a Pada candidate? Yeah, that's a good point. Do I have Pada? I have one here. Go. Good point. What games am I interested in this year? That's a hard question because I don't actually know which games are coming out this year. I feel like every time we watch an event, everything looks ass. I don't know when Mortal Shell is coming out. I might actually try it. I enjoyed the first one. Obviously, it was extremely like janky. You know, it's an indie game. Like you cannot hold indie games to the same standard as you do with AAA. Like the budget difference makes makes the world of a difference, you know. So it is what it is. And also, like, I actually knew the people behind, like, not personally obviously, but I knew the people behind Mortal Shell before Mortal Shell. Like the people that were behind this game, like some of them were like top or are top tier like artists that already had a name for themselves, and like they just did this side project and they made Mortal Shell. That's why the art in Mortal Shell is so good. Like you're looking at like a movie grade, like Hollywood movie grade type artists that are working on Mortal Shell, you know. One of the guys' name is Vitaly. He's like one of the better artists out there. So like these guys, like they have a lot of really top tier talent over there. But you know, it's like with anything, right? It doesn't actually matter if you're a top tier artist or a top tier programmer. Like it's actually fairly not fairly irrelevant when you're making a game. Like, obviously it's a massive plus, but at the end of the day, what it comes down to is the understanding of gameplay. Really, that's really all it comes down to. If you understand gameplay, that's what's gonna make or break the game, like being amazing or just being good, or even being bad. And so, you know, when it comes to like these Souls-like games that we've seen so far, I'm not actually convinced that they actually do understand gameplay like From Software does. So, you know, it doesn't mean that their games are going to be bad. Like, it can still be fun, but I'm not like holding my breath, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly, Medios. That's what I do believe as well. Like, you can't just be a player though. Like, you have to be like a player that understands the game. So usually that means you cannot be a bad player. You don't need to be the best, but you can't be like a bad player. Because if you're a bad player and you understand the game, like, something is not right. Like, either you have trouble using your fingers, which, you know, that can happen. Or it's actually because you don't understand gameplay. Yeah, they do have a good formula. Honestly, that's why we're still around. It's because there's... Even with all the people trying to emulate what From Software does, it's still not as good as what From Software does, you know? How many pots do I actually have here? Okay, I have 4. Miyazaki has skill issues. Well, you have to be careful though, because Miyazaki also brings an element that's also very difficult to find, and that's very rare. Like, Miyazaki is responsible for all the art direction, and if anything, whether you're talking about PvEers, PvPers, speedrunners, you name it, every part of the community, I've never heard anyone complain about the artistic direction, like, generally speaking, for From Software games. You know, like, we can complain and say that the armors in Elden Ring are ugly, and I think that's, you know, that's something that's fair, but overall, like, you can't say that all the environment, all the world is ugly, and that the game direction and, like, the lore behind the game and everything, you know, like, there's no way you can say that it was badly executed. And for the most part, that's what Miyazaki does. Like, Miyazaki is responsible for all the art direction and the narrative and, you know, these other aspects. Like, there is a person that works at FromSoft, which I would love to know, like, for Elden Ring, who was responsible for it, but there are guys that are responsible for gameplay, and it's not necessarily Miyazaki. Miyazaki does have a say in it. Like, we hear glimpses in interviews from time to time that, like, he has his ways of going about, like, gameplay, and he has some things that he wants and doesn't want. But don't get it twisted. Like, there is someone at FromSoft that's responsible for most of the gameplay decisions, and that's not necessarily always Miyazaki. Yeah, exactly. Like, art direction is indeed, like, often what's praised the most, like, when it comes to FromSoft. Like, you cannot say that Souls games are like an empty shell that's basically just combat. They just happen to have a deeper combat than every other game in their genre. And more often than not, like, the PvEers and the casual players, they all enjoy that combat when it's done by FromSoft, but they don't enjoy it when it's done by other Souls-like. They don't understand why, because they don't understand the gameplay, but, you know, at the end of the day, the outcome is the same. They instinctively know what's good without understanding why. But yes, Miyazaki does have skill issue, like someone said earlier. Like, this is also like pretty well documented. Like, Miyazaki is like the test dummy at FromSoft when it comes to like testing the game if it's too hard, which is pretty funny when you think about it, because the difficulty in Souls games is basically like the benchmark for the difficulty is how well does Miyazaki beat the game, which is kind of funny, or beat a boss, you know. So Miyazaki's skill is like the benchmark for Souls games. So if you're having trouble beating the game, you're probably like worse than Miyazaki at these games, which is kind of funny if you think about. And if you think that the games are too easy, well, you're probably better than Miyazaki at these games. And you know, I'm saying that, I'm not even joking. Like, this is like documented, multiple interviews. Like, I'm sure you could use an AI to find like excerpts to like look up exactly each interviews, but it's been said multiple times that Miyazaki is basically like the dummy test for Souls game. Like, if Miyazaki cannot beat a boss, like, they tune down the difficulty basically, which is pretty funny. Yeah, Oz in Space, I kind of agree with you, but to be fair, like, I'm not really into like metal type fantasy, you know, like the heavy metal style stuff. Like, I was not into the heavy Victorian style of Bloodborne either. Like, this is just not my sort of thing. But to be fair, like, that's highly like preferential. Like, you know, like, it can be well executed and it just might still not be your thing, you know. So that's another thing. So just like Elden Ring, for instance, like all the styles for the armors, not really my thing in Elden Ring compared to all the Dark Souls games. Like the Dark Souls games, where you're talking about Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, I think all of these games had better looking armors than Elden Ring does. But that's like a team thing, right? It's like the Dark Souls games are more like, well, I mean, they're more grounded. Like, the armors for Souls games are legitimately, like, directly inspired off of real historical knight armors. Like, you can pick, like, any armor pieces, and you'll find, like, on the internet, like, direct representation of these armors. Like, the inspiration for the artist is very directly grounded in reality. Whereas when you look at Elden Ring, obviously, like, you know, there's always a bit of goofy in every Souls game, but even the knight stuff, like, this is not, like, this is very fantasy, you know? Like, everything that's like the closest thing to a grounded armor, it's still very fantasy-like. It's not necessarily as grounded as Souls did it. Like, obviously, you could say, like, well, you know, the onion armor, the iconic onion armor in Dark Souls 1, that's definitely not grounded in reality. You're right, like, they always have that little, you know, they're still fantasy games at the end of the day, but the ratio of grounded in reality versus, like, high fantasy is very different from Elden Ring to Souls. And personally, I enjoy a little more grounded than what Elden Ring does as far as style, but that's not to say that Elden Ring was badly executed from, you know, an artistic direction point of view. Quite the opposite. It's just to each his own, really. That's what it comes down to. You know, like, personally, for instance, I think I prefer the more like classic fantasy style, you know, with the elves, the dwarves, that sort of stuff. That appeals to me more than the dark fantasy, where it's very gory and has a lot of horror to it. But some others, like, think the opposite. They prefer, like, the more, like, gore stuff and horror stuff over, like, the traditional, like, Dungeons and Dragon fantasy. I like the traditional stuff a little more, but again, to each his own, really. Okay, we're not getting invasions from here, so let's change area. Let's try invading from here. Why not? Or actually, let's try it here. You found a name for the gameplay director? Keiku Arima, you worked on Bloodborne, Dark Souls, and Elden Ring. Thank you so much for that. That's great. See, like, what's amazing about this is I actually never heard his name. Like, you know, like, we heard, like, you know, different names for different people that worked at FromSoft, but, like, this guy that you brought up, I never heard of him. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show that sometimes, like, we talk about Souls and it's always all about Miyazaki, but that's not necessarily how it works. There's an army of people that work on these games. So, you know, if you're gonna criticize gameplay, it's Kaku Arima's fault. No one else. No, but I'm sure he's not the only one that has a say in it. But, you know, it's interesting to know that. Message that guy. Yeah, everyone send him a DM. Take it I don't like Berserk. No, I actually really like Berserk. I know that Souls is inspired from Berserk, but I think the execution is very different, because Berserk is really that, I mean, Berserk is unique, first of all. Like, you know, like every iconic, like, franchise that you can think of, like, they all have their unique aspect. What's great about Berserk is, like, it's very grounded, and then, like, as the story develops, like it unveils sort of like the mystery and the fantasy. So it's very different. I really like how Berserk is set up. Even though Berserk is very dark, like it basically gets like darker and darker as you progress, and it's sort of like a unveiling a mystery, because you start to understand more of how the world works as the story progresses. Yeah, Attack on Titan is another perfect example, actually. Like, if you take the steampunk genre in isolation, right? I don't actually care whatsoever about the steampunk genre. And technically, Attack on Titan is very, like, steampunk in its sort of fantasy setting. Yet, it's, to me, like, the best... it's, like, probably the best anime that I've watched. And it is steampunk. It's probably like one of the ones I enjoyed the most. And it was like, again, their way of like, it starts as more like grounded, and then as the story progresses, they unveil like how the world works, and they unveil the fantasy to the world, and everything starts to make sense as the story progresses, and becomes increasingly more like complex and you know, like supernatural. But the way they present it is just so well executed that, you know, it's very easy for people who are not into that team to get into it for that particular piece of work, right? So I'm glad that you brought it up, because it's a perfect example of how you can bring a team that's not necessarily like extremely enjoyed by everyone. You can bring it to be enjoyed by more people. Okay, we know that okay, good. Sleep, 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 protect this guy. Wow, thank you for tracking. Oh, wow, oh my god, this game robbed me. Wow, I got robbed of that. Did he just heal? The PvE? The PvE guy? I think he healed. They can use Bernard as, like, protection. Like, you can just hide behind it, because Bernard is basically unkillable. Like, it doesn't actually matter, like, what you do to him. Like, he just has so much HP. they're basically like protecting, getting protected by him, like he's like cock blocking the way. Insane. Is he lagging? Yeah, he's lagging. Story of Gankers, outplayed and saved. Bernard is low though. We might be able to finish him. It's gonna take a while. This guy is low too. He didn't get fucking madness this time for whatever reason. Okay. Let's heal up. Man, these fucking like PvE summons are so overtuned. Like they're so much stronger than any PvEers. Like their health pool is just so massive. DLC ones have like 50k HP. Yeah, there's no way to actually kill them without status. Honestly. Gravity is an option, yeah, but it's not like a free option, right? Like the PvE summons, they don't travel very far from their host. And in most locations that you're fighting, like there is an option for gravity, but it's like far away, right? Like, you know, like here there's gravity. Like you could technically make them fall like over here, but are they gonna chase you all the way to here necessarily? Sometimes yes, and that's your best option, but often not. Playing Bleak Fate, I haven't heard that name in a while. But you know, games like Bleak Fate, you know, like Mortal Shell, like Fall of Avalon, like you cannot hold, like, I don't care if you like or dislike these games, you can't hold them to the same standard as you do with like a From Software game, you know, a Bethesda game, you know, name like any AAA games that you actually enjoy. Like you cannot hold indie game to the same standard. They just don't have the same amount of resources. But that being said, when an indie project is properly scoped, aka, you know, it's a smaller game, but it's well executed, it can actually be better than AAA. But they need to have the talent, they need to have, like, very condensed talent, basically, in, like, every important aspect. Not sure about Bethesda anymore? Yeah, that's fair. I mean, their two recent games were what? Like, Starfield and Fallout 76? Like, I don't actually know anyone who likes these games, so it's fair to say. Yeah, I'll probably try the new Mortal Shell. I think the studio that did Oblivion Remaster did well. Yeah, I think so too, honestly. Like, I know a lot of people hated on the remaster because, oh, it's not true to the original. I think it was good, honestly. Like, being someone who had never played Oblivion before, like, you know, I wasn't, like, biased by nostalgia, or, like, swayed by nostalgia, basically. Like, so I didn't have, like, any, like, nostalgic attachment to anything, and I think it was pretty good. Like, it's a very good game, like, if you take it by itself. Now, if you make it, like, let's say you make a sound argument that they removed features and that the game, the older game, had features that the new one doesn't have, then you'd have a sound argument to say that the old one was better, right? But I don't really think that's the case unless I'm mistaken. You play Expedition 33? No, I did not. I'm not really into these turn-based type games. It's not my thing. I'm not into, like, Forza either. Like, that's usually my favorite example, because Forza is very specifically for people who care a lot about cars. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. You still killed them. EA, Bethesda, and Ubisoft all went downhill. I mean, yeah. I don't think there's any arguing with that. Very unfortunate, but... honestly, like, I would have, like, an interesting, like, question that would probably be easy to answer, but do you guys think that the people who manage, it's not really like one person, but do you think the people that have like veto, like they have the decision-making ability, let's say the CEOs, right? Like, I know the CEO of Ubisoft is like Yves Guillemot, right? And then like I don't know who the CEO of EA is, but let's talk about like these CEOs. Do you actually think that these CEOs know what a good game and a bad game is? They probably don't. They just know what a good game is from sales number. You know what I mean? Like that CEO would not be able to play a game and tell you if it's good or not before it launches and he gets like the impression from people who actually play games. You know what I mean? And so I think it's hard for huge companies like that to get any sense of direction when the people at the top are completely clueless. And we only gave like the CEOs as an example, but I'm sure that it goes like further than that, right? Like, I'm sure it's not just the CEOs. Like, there's probably a lot of people underneath that don't have a clue either. Oh, I ate my input. Questionable. Oh my god. What a fucking all-star. Let's careful about this guy. Getting 2v1 here. Bro, he barely got any damage from that. Oh, come on. That's basically frame trap between the two attacks. Even if the host is ass, like, you know, I couldn't do anything the moment his friend joined the fray. I'm gonna try to re-invade them again because they're all ass anyway. I doubt we're gonna get a re-invasion, but... Yep, no, we're not gonna be able to re-invade, unfortunately. I took too long to kill the host, that was the issue. Yeah, Medius, you're absolutely spot on. Skipped me. Oh man, that's just so unlucky again. God damn it, dude. We had the perfect weapon, perfect strat. Just unlucky. Pretty unlucky today, like overall. Like very little invasions, and the one we get, it's like slipping up on a banana peel. I think where I fucked up is I should have thrown a sleep bot in there before going in. That's where I failed. If I'd thrown a sleep bot before going in, we would not have to worry about them attacking back. It's crazy how invasions go, you know, like I think the two last streams were deathless and it was not like, you know, particularly challenging in any way. And today's the same. It's not particularly challenging either. It's just, you know, it's the way this game is. Like it doesn't actually matter how good you are. It's like you're not really in control of the outcome. No, I'm not using any save editing or anything like that. I want to have the moral high ground over Steel. That I can tell all the Redditors that I don't actually save edit when they tell me I'm save editing. I like having, like, you know, the ability to say that the people that say that I use CE or that I save edit, I can tell them no, I don't, and I'm not lying, you know. I kind of like that, and it's not like, don't get me wrong, I don't think like what Steel is doing is wrong. It's just that I want to have the ability to say no to these clueless Redditors. It's just my thing. Alright. Oh, so close. So close again. AD input there. I didn't mean to do that. It was supposed to be an R2, but oh well. No moral high ground. You had all your elves, us, farm you golem arrows. Yeah, exactly. If the game was fine-tuned, no one would have to do CE or save anything. Yeah, I mean, again, like, I'm saying that because it's like to fuck with them, right? Like, I can fuck with them. If I don't, like, save edit, I can fuck with these people and tell them straight up, like, no, I don't save edit. Because everyone, like, every one of these scrubs, like, they always assume that you do. So there's always, like, that. It's sort of like a, almost like a pet peeve, really. But that doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just that these people, like, see it as really bad. What I find funny is, I don't know about Steel, but I have so many, like, people that come to me complaining about that. I never see people complain about that on, like, you know, on Chase channel, obviously, or Steel. I mean, Steel probably here and there, but never in Chase. And, you know, like, Chase, when he plays on PC, like, of course he save edited his stuff. Like, of course he used CE. But yet they accuse me, and I don't use CE. So I like the fact that, you know, because I don't use it, I can have the moral high ground and tell them, like, no, I don't use it, but all these other content creators do. So you should tell them, not me. But that has, like, you know, like, that has nothing to do of, like, it has nothing to do to using CE being bad for dropping yourself stuff. It's just, I just like to fuck with them. It's because my inventory looks insane. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, another thing that never gets mentioned, like, when the game came out, when Elden Ring came out, all the content creators, like, beat the game extremely fast, obviously because they're very experienced in Souls games, and they didn't take their time, you know, like, they did the full story and everything, but they beat the game in, like, a few days, like most content creators did, and then they went straight up into PvP, and they dropped themselves everything and got everything, like, right from the get-go. And, like, you know, I'm including, like, Steel, Chase, you know, like, Lost. Everyone did that. They all rushed it. Yet, you know, like, these people go and complain that I'm using CE when I don't. And I was like one of the only content creator that never got anything duped, dropped, or anything like that for the first 6 months of the game coming out. I even played my first Elden Ring tournament with nothing dropped and nothing duped. So it's like, the reason why I waited 6 months is I don't want to have an advantage over the people I'm playing. Obviously, when the game comes out, like, the people that are hardcore into Souls are gonna, you know, get everything set up and get everything done, like, very quickly. But the average player doesn't beat these games in, like very quickly. And it's not, like, complete for them, like, as fast as us, like, tryhard community. So, my reasoning was, I want to be, like, on the same playing field as the lowest common denominator. Which means, like, you know, the casual. And so I waited 6 months before, like, getting anything dropped to me. Like, I wasn't getting, like, any drops. I think Castle actually dropped me, like, some boluses once, though. Like, the rot boluses. But aside from that, like, pretty much nothing, really. And so, like, the whole argument of, like, you know, like, I'm the cheater, I find it funny, and at the same time, like, it's really dissociated from reality, because if you look at all the streamers, like I'm the softest one when it comes to that, right? Like, obviously, like, now, like, the reason why I have this whole inventory, this stuff is dropped. Like, this stuff is dropped, and I reload my saves, so it's not, like, 100% vanilla, you could say. But no, like, cheating was involved. It's only, like, game mechanic to get that stuff, really. Yeah, I am morally superior. Thank you, Imad. See, like, this is what I wanted to hear. If you could say it again for all the YouTube audience, would be great. But, you know, jokes aside, like, I don't actually think it is morally superior. I just, for the people who are sort of deranged or don't understand how this stuff works, thank you, Imad. For the people who don't understand how this stuff works, they, like, it takes all their arguments away. That's what I like. That's what I actually like about this. I don't actually give a shit if you guys, like, use CE to get your stuff dropped. I don't think it's bad in any way, shape, or form. I don't care about it. I think it's completely From Software's fault for not having a game economy that works, where you can actually get the stuff you want to play the game. Like, of course, it makes no sense to start farming in this game. Like, you'd be completely mentally deranged to spend, like, fucking tens of thousands of hours, like, farming for stuff. Like, that would be, like, the uttermost complete waste of time. But, you know, when you're talking to Redditors and clueless people, like, that's what they want you to do. Because they're deranged like that, and they probably do a little bit of that. Okay, we're not getting any invasions here. We're gonna try maybe one last time to invade local. Yeah, we're not getting anything. Alright, let's move to, Broadview Balcony. Why not? What about the people who drop stuff that you got from save editing items? See, Mark, like, you know, if you get paid by someone who did, like, money laundering, like, you're not, like, held responsible for the money laundering, you know what I mean? Especially if you never knew about it. If you knew about it, that's different, but if you didn't know about it, I don't think I ever gotten stuff from people that I know for sure they you know, they save edited their shit to get stuff dropped. Especially since the whole stuff that I got in my inventory, like, I got it from an era where save editing was not really much of a thing for this game. Like, I basically got it when people were actually, like, creating their mule inventories by straight up duping. Like, they started from, like, I remember, I think it was B-Fuzz that I got. Like, most of the stuff that I have in my inventory is from B-Fuzz. And what B-Fuzz does is he basically, like, created a mule when the game came out, where he basically, like, started with, like, minimal stuff, and, you know, like, had a friend, like, they would exchange stuff back and forth. until they get like 99 of everything. So like they had to manually spend time to do that, and a lot of people did when the game came out. So even my suppliers are clean? Yeah, pretty much, because my inventory dates to prior to fucking save editing being much of a thing. Yo, guys, you saw that? I took damage from that, but I rolled it. By the way, I don't have the poise to tank that follow-up. That shit's wild. Okay, I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna go here. Actually, let's heal. Oh, they're not following, though. Yo, how is he resisting that? Dude, this guy took a lot of punishment. Oh, never mind. I confused the two guys. Like, I did the Ash of War on this one, and it's because I backstabbed the first guy with the Madness Hand. I confused the build-up that I did between the two. So yeah, guys, moral of the story today. I am morally superior to the other streamers. There you go. You heard it first here. The reason why I like this whole discussion so much is like, you know, like other content creators like Steel Chase or Lost, like they don't have like as dedicated of like hate watchers, right? And these hate watchers, like they'll find like any reason to fucking hate you and hate what you do. And so like when you actually like go into their twisted logic and you beat their like argument in that twisted logic, I don't know, I find it funny. I find it quite funny. Why do you have these hate watchers? Man, there's a lot of reasons for it. I think, you know, I can only guess, but in Dark Souls 3 there's a few reasons. First of all, because, you know, I was the guy to beat in Dark Souls 3, like everyone wanted to beat me. Actually, you know what? Let's destroy these chariots. Which one is the item? It's not this one. Not this one. Okay, it should be one of these. No. Okay, this one. There we go, the shackle. That should work. Was I too far? I have been too far. I think I was too far. We need to do it again. Bro, what the hell? Oh, thank you, game. Guys, isn't this supposed to get destroyed here? Or am I in the wrong spot? Let's try here. Might have been too far. Okay, there you go. I was too far. There you go. Now it should work. He should get destroyed with this here. Right? The hell? Bro, I could not solve the puzzle, guys. I just could not. But yeah, like, to continue that discussion, I think another part of the answer is that I'm not particularly laid back when it comes to speaking my mind, you know what I mean? Like, I'll describe everything I'm seeing, and that will, like, if it's not kind, that will tend to aggravate people. But there's that, you know? Because that comes with the good and the bad, you know. When I see something that's brain dead, I'll say that's brain dead, and then people will get upset, like, wow, you're so mean, you called them brain dead. Stuff like that. Ooh, I feel like the latency on that is pretty interesting. Okay, oh, it's the blind spotty. Bye-bye. Oops, that's a dead end. Alright. I'm gonna have to be careful here. I'm considering, oh, we're gonna have some help. I think for this guy, we're gonna need this. Careful about the bleed buildup. You can see it. Nice spell. I need to find a way to get the fuck out of here, though. Okay, this over here. What did I have here? Where is it? I cannot find the fucking... Okay, there it is. Okay, we have some PvE here that's a little laggy, but... travel on that was very long. Let's go back and heal. There's really not much room to do any sustained damage. Yeah. Where's the host? Never mind. They don't want to engage with the rhino. Oh, he took that hit like super late. Nice. Shit player goes down. Made too much noise. They woke him up. Here we go, 5 of these. I would have preferred to, you know, to kill the host, to kill the Phantom and then kill the host. But you take what you can get, really. There's 2 of them. Oh wow, this host is going to be dangerous though. Gotta be careful. Is that a dragon? Oh, he's not dead. Now he is. Well, you definitely have to be careful about both of them because they both probably do a lot of damage. Out of stem. That's why you be mindful. Oh, this guy is very low on HP, but it's like I can't commit like too hard on the dragon or on the guy because the dragon is gonna have some range stuff. Okay, there you go. It's like very risky either target that I pick. But questionable. Alright. Yeah, dual crushers are such a good invasion setup too, honestly. When we tried the double crusher with the Blood Boil aromatic, the fact that Blood Boil gives you that 20% physical damage, man, the heavy infused crushers were just doing so much. Like seriously, it's one dangerous setup. Like it's a very good invasion setup, the dual crushers. It's a very dangerous setup. You can't fuck up too many times against that. In fact, you can't fuck up more than twice. Even if you have all the optimization in the world. Thankfully, the setup is balanced by the fact that you play blindfolded. Yep. Yep, that's a fact too. Well, I activated the elevator, but... Okay, well... Apparently I didn't. Yo, still, we were talking about how dishonest you are with the invasion script thing, or save editing. People were asking me if I was gonna do it, and I was talking about how I had the moral high ground because I didn't have it. Yeah, exactly, man. Not just to steal though, to every content creator, because I don't save edit. There you go. But yeah, jokes aside, still the moral of the story was that I like to not save edit just to tell the stupid Redditors that I don't save edit. That's what it comes down to. Man of the people. What did I use to get the stuff from Beefos? He dropped it on the ground for me. I happened to be in his world and I picked it up. I picked it up on the ground, dude, you know, like he... I guess I was lucky. Guys, I'm becoming fluent in politician speech. I can navigate difficult situations without lying and without telling the truth by basically telling a false story without lying. Well, guys, I think we're gonna change area though, because this is not very active, and you know what? Let's go here. Why not? Yo, Soda, how you doing, man? Such an incredible moment of luck to appear in Bifa's world as he was dropping all these raw meat dumplings. Yeah. You're alright, how are you? Man, honestly, I'm doing fine. Like, I'm pretty, when it comes to gaming, like, I'm pretty, like, jaded from, like, any games or... Like, there's not really any game I enjoy or that I'm excited about that's like coming out in the near future. Like, I'm excited for the next Elder Scrolls game, but that's probably coming out in like 3 years or something, 2 years. So, but like everything else, like ERL stuff, I'm doing pretty well. But like the gaming part of thing, it's so hard to get excited for anything nowadays. Like any games, everything is just, I don't know. I don't know if it's me becoming jaded or my standards are too high, or I don't know what it is, but I feel like I was excited for more games back when E3 was a thing, right? Okay, well, it doesn't seem like we're getting anything from this side. Let's try the other side. You're not jaded and your standards are not too high. Okay, someone said Alec Tree. Let's try Alec Tree. At some point, gaming became full of slop. That's what I feel like. Games are simply worse overall. It's like, that's what I think, but I don't know if I think that because it's like some sort of nostalgia, if because like games are a little bit better now, but because they're not like vastly different from before, like you've already experienced like every type of game, so to speak, right? Like you know, like if you've played like shooting games, like for the most part the gameplay for shooting games, it's just pointing stuff at the screen for the most part, right? So it's like if you've played a few of them throughout your life, like it's gonna be very difficult to come up with like a vastly new concept. AKA that's actually what Fortnite did, and it became extremely successful. Because Fortnite like had a completely different element brought to the table, actually. I don't know if it's that or if the games like you guys are saying are actually worse now. It's hard to say, like I don't actually know which one it is. We've been gaming for a long time and we've seen everything. I don't know if we've seen everything is like, you know, I don't think it's very accurate, but for the most part, I think it sort of encapsulate the sentiment though. It's like, you know, if you've played a shooting game, or if you've played a few shooting games, like you kind of know what the genre is, right? Like if you've played a racing game or a few racing games, like the next one that's coming up is not going to be vastly different from the ones that came prior. You know what I mean? So I don't know if there's a bit of that. We experience all the generational improvements and now tech is the bottleneck. Maybe, that could be. Maybe. Because like let's just sort of get into like a fantasy mindset, right? Let's imagine that we're like in a future where everything is different, nothing like the world we know today is the same, and then gaming is basically like you get plugged into a machine like Matrix style, and you experience a new fantasy world with every inch of your body, you know, like stuff like that would definitely feel a lot different than the gaming experience we've had for the last few years, you know what I mean? Oh, it's this fucking guy again. Oh, they don't want it. Oh man, this guy's net is something. Yo! The assist! The perfectly timed assist! Am I gonna get fog wall? Do you guys think I'm gonna get fog wall? Yeah, you better put that shield. Do I have something? Oh yeah, I have that. Yo, the pussy just gave up, dude. Insane. Bro, he healed like I don't know how many times, and then he just realized his cheesy ass could not win, and he just gave the fuck up. That's way better than just killing him. That's an amazing achievement. We broke him. We almost like finished him with the Sword of Damnation, but oh, I actually did have a sight. I was actually thinking I don't have a sight in this inventory, or this temporary inventory, but I actually do have one. It's like after we used the Sword of Damnation on him, maybe we could have finished him with the sight. That deserves the AI baby. I love how like the host has like legitimately, guys, I'm not exaggerating, like when it comes to PvE and PvP, the least skillful build and the cheesiest build in the entire game is most definitely like shield poking, like this guy was doing with fingerprint, sword lance. It's like the prime cheese setup. And so, like, if you're using something like that, like, you have absolutely no no ground to complain about what your opponent is using. Like, it's probably the easiest build to beat PvE with. I mean, that's why everyone uses shield poking to beat Radon, really. So, I don't know, I just find it funny. Where is the host? Oh, I saw him. Wait. Is that a thing? Let's say I don't want to over jump. Yeah, we got the baby jump. I don't think I can make it. You can actually... Oh, well, we fucked it up, but I think you might be able to make it. About here. Oh, you can make it more easily here. This map is very fun for discovering like parkour and such. It's a fun map. It says that this guy... Oh no, this guy's by himself. Here. So close. Just picked up something on the floor. What do I have to chase him? I want the madness hand him, but these rolls are like a little funky. Gonna kill him. You beat Prime Radon with that setup? Dude. I mean, you do whatever you want, I'm just saying. See, Kaiser, though, like, if you were, like, you know, if you were, like, a Redditor, you would be insulted by that. You would be insulted by the fact that I said that, even if it's true, right? That shield poking in, like, in PvE doesn't take skill. I mean, I do it. I don't give a shit. Like, I do it, too. But, like, they don't want to hear that for some reason. I know you are joking, but, you know, like, when we're talking about, like, the Redditors, like, they get upset by that. It's like when we did the Nintendoodoo run with like summoning chat for the bosses. Like when we beat Radon with chat, everyone was on their fingerprint shield poke setup, and we had so much fun. And it was still challenging because it was Nintendoodoo. Like I have, like, you know, like you guys know, like you play with whatever you want. Like it doesn't actually matter. Especially against PvE, like no one is actually affected. Like, you know, if you use something that's extremely oppressive in PvP, well, it's gonna, the other person is gonna have a bad time, so there's that. But in PvE, like there's no like there's no victim. Full of bots now? Yeah, I don't have a hard time believing that. It's only one person. Oh, he has a shield. Where's the side? There it is. Back in my days, that used to be a backstab. Yeah, that's a good point, Clivy. I think I'm gonna end here. No, I'm just joking. No, I'm not gonna end yet. I started a little earlier to be able to do a little 3 hours. But yeah, I was aiming for 3 hours today. I think I should change this talisman to this one, because I have a hard time finding this talisman in my inventory, and sometimes, like, if I want to switch to this, like, I'm gonna have an easier time, like, finding the two-handed tally in my inventory. You check Google AI for build creation for PvP, it's actually not bad. Dude, that could actually be interesting to to ask some AIs to like make you a build and see like which one performs the best at making like a good PvP build. That could be quite interesting. We could rate the AI based on the AI model based on the ones that gives you like the best PvP build. That could be interesting. You can do that? You did that before? They're horrible and use outdated stuff? Yeah, I would be extremely shocked if they come up with anything good. Because it's like a, you know, the way these models work, like, you know, they have access to internet stuff, right? Like, everything that's on the internet. And so usually they'll probably use, like, the voice of the majority to base their answer on. So, you know, that's probably going to include, like, some Reddit builds. Got some sponsorship offer. It's unpaid, but they will provide you $500 in gacha currency to pull waifu characters. Your dream finally came true. That's great, though, that you're getting sponsorship, Steel. I think not all sponsorships are made equal, but I was happy when I first tried a sponsorship back when we had the Raid Shadow Legends stream. We did the Raid Shadow Legends stream, and you know it was nice to experience it. I don't think I would do that sort of sponsorship again, but if you get sponsored by, like, you know, like I think Steel right now is sponsored by Instant Gaming, it's like, you know, like you get better prices for a game and whatever. So stuff like that, you don't have to play like games that you don't like or that no one cares about to get that sponsorship. So I think stuff like that is great, honestly. Good for you, man. You had it for 2 months, not anymore. So what's your conclusion on this? Do you think it was worth it? Like, I'm sure you're glad that you got to experience it. But what's your conclusion? Like, do you think you would go for it again if the opportunity presents itself? Because, like, for me, like the Raid Shadow Legends stuff, like, I felt like it was not really worth it. Forgot like how much it paid. I think it was, forgot if it was like 500 or 300, but it's like it sort of kills your channel because people don't give a shit about that, and so it was like a net negative to the channel pretty much. So I'm not quite sure that it's really worth it. I was out of stam there, could not dodge that. Ah, so close. I'm out of stam. Oh, not an Ender there. No, he saved him! Oh my god. Bro, Kevin actually, like, legitimately saved him, like, as hard as possibly, like... Just jump into that. It's gonna be hard to get the finisher here. Kevin resisted it. Wow, and there's 2 blues now. Insane. And he resisted that plus the punch. Oh, it's definitely a bad situation because right now we have no cover. We were about to kill the host. Like, the host was getting madness the moment that Kevin saved him. Like, it was legitimately, like, at the moment that the projectile hit me, the host was getting madness, or about to get madness. I have to switch position here because there's absolutely no cover and no way to outplay 3 people in the open here. I don't really know the map though, so it's gonna be a little difficult. Okay, this is perfect. We should be able to make some moves in this location. I might be dead. Oh. Out of stam too. Woo! Oh my god, we somehow survived. Holy shit. Man, my stam is not cooperating with me right now. That dragon does too much damage. Okay, change of plan. Oh, come on. Dude, what's crazy is this host was like legitimately like a split second away from dying. And here we are here like on the verge of death, like holding for dear life. We're gonna need some running here. Let's go toward the bottom if we can. Can I jump here? I don't think I can. Might be dead. Let's jump. Woo. Try to trigger the plant at least or something. Oh my god, really? I can't believe I got ambushed by these scrubs. Maybe we can kill Kevin. I don't think we have time. We need to go back to the plants. They're so fucking ass and thirsty, dude. There's just so little you can do. Wow, the shit player actually fucking returned to his world. Probably out of blue. Alright. Let's kill Kevin. And now he's by himself. Alright. Let's reset our tallies. I'm just gonna TS him. We're gonna make this quick. There's gonna be no shenanigans here. Just a quick TS death for him. Saying lock on. Let's heal as well. Of course. Can't punish him actually. Fucking shitbag, the fuck out of here. Let's put this back if I can find it. Go. Dude, we almost died like multiple times. What's crazy is this whole invasion was not gonna happen if that stupid Kevin like just came like a split second fucking later. The host would have been madness and one shot. That's the crazy part. Like Kevin actually interrupted our attack like the moment the host was about to die. That's what's so crazy, and then it devolved into an invasion that was basically like almost lost. The dragon guy that DC'd when he was out of blue, or not DC'd but backed out when he was out of blue, was doing a lot of damage as well. Speaking of Armored Core, I have a story for you guys. A few months ago, like not last month or anything like that, but a few months ago, I was like, you know what? Let me give Armored Core 6 a try again. And so what I did was, you know, I made like an entirely new build with like the new parts, because I was not aware, but they gave an update and added a few new parts. So I was like, all right, let me do like a just a pub match, just to like try the controls again and everything. And so like, you know, this new build with the new parts, it just got obliterated right away. I was like, you know what? Let me try my old build again with the quad. And let me do like ranked match against people that, you know, are trying to win, like the people that still play this game. And so I kid you not, I played 25 ranked match and I did not lose a single match. Just by spamming Kick Zimmerman. So the game did not change whatsoever. It's still the same skillless game, even with the dumb people that are still playing this fucking shit PvP, dude. I find it absolutely fascinating that people still play Armored Core 6 PvP, given how fucking shallow the PvP is. It's the most shallow PvP I have ever seen, dude. And you know, the proof is in the pudding. I went back to that against, you know, having not played for, what was it, like how long has the game been out? Like probably over a year. Just using the same fucking old build. Obviously the build is broken, but I mean, the game is skillless, so stop me in my tracks. Interesting choice. It's hard to get the finisher. Interesting choice to roll there. Oh, close. There you go. Honestly, guys, from my experience so far with these, like, sleep and madness setup, I think the sleep crossbow and the sleep pots are a lot easier to use and to get on people than the madness hand, but the madness hand is far more fun and rewarding to get. And guys, like, going back to the Armored Core thing, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna show it on stream right now, but if it ever comes up, like I'm on PC or whatever, like, you don't need to take my word for it. Like, these 25 wins, I was able to count them because the game actually keeps a log of your games that you've played. So, like, you can see, like, the 25, like, ranked match wins in the fucking game log, which is kind of crazy. Would be cool if Elden Ring did that for the arena stuff. Although to be fair, the arena in Elden Ring is kind of meaningless. But let's say in a world where the arena meant or was good. We got the great players with... Oh, okay. Okay, because he has... Oh, we have a teammate. Alright, that shouldn't be that bad. He's taking very little damage. My teammate does not look amazing, but... No way that he just healed in my face like that. Oh my god. Okay, my teammate's probably dead now. Story of gankers, outplayed and saved. Let's get to the church to get some cover. Should I have a teammate here somewhere? They're probably dead. He got saved. Wow, no hit for me. This guy's definitely high level because he's taking very little damage. That's not what I want. With that. Oh, host is dead. No hit for me. Are you 150 now? Yeah, I'm playing at 150 now. Because no one plays at 125 anymore. No one invades there. Still one. Meta's 150. I lost. The meta is not 125 anymore. Yeah, the sun has set on 125, dude. The advantage though is that it's so easy to make any build at 150. Like, you have so much points. Next game will go up to 200. There you go. That's the spirit. Is that the same fellas? Could be. No idea. These guys were kind of fun though. No, it's not the same guys. Kind of fun because they let another invader get in there. It's not like... Oh. Wow, he just went for it. Okay, well... This guy buff, and then let's madness hand him. Oh, of course. It's hard to madness hand these guys, because sometimes they attack when it doesn't make sense, sometimes they dodge when it doesn't make sense. Oh, I thought I was gonna kill him there. Like, see there? Like, that hit right there, like, he did a second swing. Like, they're so random. Like, they play like randomizers. You cannot guess what they're gonna do because they don't even know themselves. So it's hard to set up, like, specific stuff against these guys. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, Clivy. Like, right now, I'm keeping my character 125, and then I just level it up when I start the stream, and then I reload the save when I'm done. So it doesn't really change all that much. Although it does change, like, how you make your inventory, because, like, right now, I'm playing at 150. That allows me to be, like, a Strength Fate hybrid that's, like, that has like the Madness hand swap available without sacrificing anything strength. So that means that I can use like any strength weapon to good effect, and I can have like, you know, like Devonia hammer swap, like Madness hand swap. So this sort of stuff, you can do it at 125, but you're gonna have to sacrifice some things, and you might not have the same inventory. So all in all, your inventory is gonna be different from 125 to 150, so you have to account for that. This guy's max or high level. This guy right there, you can see it from his staff. Not sure if we're gonna get attacked by the host either. Also, oh, it's taking a lot of damage though. Host letting us fight until his friend's about to die. Nice rolls. Going in for a haircut right now. Gonna show them a pic of Kevin. Wish me luck. You're gonna come out of that with a wig, though. You don't know who's the Phantom, but... Not the Beyblade? That's funny. Only one guy? Yo, Johnny Mango, thanks for the resub for 14 months, man. Really appreciate that. Thanks for the Prime resub, actually. Much appreciated, man. Alright, do you guys think the guy is gonna be, like, camping above the church? Like, I think he is, like we've seen many times. No, he's not. Never mind. Alright. That's good. I'm so used to people camping here. Close. Want to hear another anecdote? Yeah, go for it. What you got for Pereira in game at UFC White House? I mean, Pereira is a 2 times glory champion. And Gain is just losing to everyone, but you know, contrary to popular belief, I think people underestimate Gain a little bit. Like, he's still a very good fighter. It's just the UFC has a lot of talent. But yeah, I think I got Pereira for that. I mean, Pereira is... I mean, they're both kickboxers, so it's like, you know, kind of expect the better kickboxer to win, and that's for sure Pereira. Also, he's my favorite of the two fighters, so you could say little biased, but I don't think it's that controversial to pick Pereira, honestly. But I haven't watched, like, UFC in a while, so... like, take my opinion with a little grain of salt. Oh, he's not, I have to be careful here. Close. I'm scared to get, like, inched between the two, you know what I mean? Didn't think it would decide to attack there. Like that. That's what you don't want. Like, fucked up like that, like that. That's my fault. This is avoidable. I basically misrolled it. This is one of those that's just completely my fault. To be safe, though, I should just go in there with Ender instead. But it's always easier said than done when you have two people attacking you, though. So it is what it is, but I think I played bad, honestly. Bro, stop. The one-handed backhand slap is funny. The reason I don't two-hand them, like, to get the, like, the madness proc when they don't get madness right away by the hand, is that if I two-hand them, I won't have enough time to, like, two-hand the Star Fist for the full charge. Although, to be fair, in that situation, they didn't have, like, enough HP for that to matter. But still, it's just like better habit to try to get them, like with this one, to be able to two-hand and fully charge it after. Because what happens is if let's say you two-hand this and you madness them there, like it's gonna take too long to two-hand, and you'll have time to do like this, but you won't have time to do this, and so you're basically leaving damage on the table. That's the idea. What's the damage difference on Starfist versus Madness Fist R2? The damage is extreme. The damage difference is extremely significant, but I don't have the numbers. But it's very significant. But I mean, just by looking at AR, you can have an idea. Because I think the Madness hand is split damage. Let's take a look at it real quick. we can just like see the AR difference, and it's gonna tell like the story. So let's see, one sec. Only one guy. So like, if you look at the damage here, you have 445 that's split damage versus 447 that's pure physical, so non-split. So already there you can see the damage difference. And then you add all the modifiers on top of that, and then you basically got way more damage with the Starfist. Because all these these multipliers are like add up very quickly. Let's see what you got. He missed me somehow. I feel bad, dude. This build is really bad today. Yes, that's a good question. I take $100. Yes, the Starfist R2 is bugged with the Madness Tally, just like the Sleep Tally. So you do get the crazy damage modifier when you Madness someone, just like the Sleep one. And actually, you get even more damage than when you sleep someone, because the Madness Hand special effect is the victim of afflicts target with madness, raises attack power when madness is triggered in the vicinity. So the Madness Hand boosts your damage even further when you madness someone, right? And so this boosts your damage and this boosts your damage, whereas with the Sleep you only get the damage boost from the talisman, not with the hand as well. So that makes the modifier even higher. So I forgot, but Vale actually did the maths on it, and like he tested it, like actually tested it like in game. I think like Madness Hand was like 40-ish like 41% extra damage, and then I think the Sleep one was 34.5 extra damage, which is a very large amount. Whereas normally it's supposed to be doing like 12%, both of them. But the reason why the Madness one was higher is because with the Madness one you get the damage buff from the hand and from the talisman. And yes, proccing Madness in itself also does damage on top of that. So when you do hit someone with the Madness hand and you proc the Madness, there's a very high chance that, you know, they're not going to survive it, because, you know, the Madness damage, the 41% damage, like it starts to get to a point where it's going to be very hard to resist all of that. And also, you know, you add more to that damage if you're like me and you put the Axe Tally and you go for the full charge. So like that Axe Tally, funnily enough, only adds like a little 10% extra to the full charge, so it's not really necessary most of the time. But if you want to be sure you get the kill, like, you know, it's your insurance policy basically. So like when you do land the Madness Hand, your damage you're primed to get the one shot basically. Like there's a very high chance you're gonna one shot your opponent. With that being said though, if your opponent like rolls the Madness so they don't take damage, you know, they're on shield tally, they have their physic, of course there's a chance they might resist it, but it's gonna need to be like a really strong build on their part, like an optimal type build. Not like these guys, right? Or an over-leveled maybe. But the over-leveled usually resist the Madness Hand on the first go. this. I might die here. Whoa! Thank you for getting that jump. Jesus Christ, dude. These PvEers just drained me out of my eels already. They do so much fucking damage. Just do too much damage, dude. Like, this is too risky. I don't actually know, like, what we should be doing here. We're out of eelings. We need to get out of here. Yeah, I'm dead here. Couldn't dodge. Man, even though these guys are legitimately like utter garbage, it felt like I couldn't do more than what I was already doing. That's crazy. Like, these guys were legitimately like completely awful. But the Star Shower damage was just too much. You can't actually fully dodge it. And then obviously the Euphoria is also another broken weapon. Should have focused on the host more? Yeah, probably. It's always easy to say in hindsight, because technically, as a rule of thumb, you should always target the mage, but the fact that there was very, like, no cover, there was, like, one rock that I could use at in the middle. We almost killed the Phantom, too, like, he was one hit away from dying, but, you know, it is what it is. Shit game, low skill, whatever it is. When Blade Poise Chip in 2v1 is nasty, yeah. Like, there's no way I can count, like, the Poise Chip that I'm taking either. Like, not while I'm fighting Star Shower. Like, imagine for a second if the game had some sort of vow of silence. I could just vow of silence and then focus on the host, and it would be like GG, but it doesn't have that option. But to be fair, we've been very unlucky today. Like, it's specifically today, like, the people we've been fighting are all, like, extremely bad, just like always. But even though, like, the last two streams have been deathless, like, this one, there was, like, more deaths than a lot of the recent streams. Just really just unlucky in general, and then a few, like, minor mistakes that usually don't cost the game. I mean, it's just how it is. Like, this game doesn't really care how well you play for the most part. It ate my input. I dodged twice there. Just the game just said fuck it. Oh, that stunned me. What OST is this? This is Armored Core 5 OST. Alright guys, let's do like 1 or 2 more invasion and then I'm gonna call it after that. Not particularly good today, unfortunately. Not a lot of activity. A lot of lost invasions that were not particularly difficult either. Just one of those days. Not a lot of Madness Hand landed either. I went for it a lot today and not nearly as effective as it was when we first tried it, and not as effective as the last time we used it either. Okay, there's 3 people. There's 2 there. Could be another one in here. Not sure if the other one's an enemy or a friend though.
Hey!
Yeah, it still says there's 3 people. It's probably like another invader that's just hiding like in the world somewhere. I'm assuming. Who's like fucking up the world for anyone. It's like here I don't have any PvE to work with. Map is pretty empty. Yeah, it's just an invader hiding somewhere. Alright, let's skip on this one. If we can come back and they have like the slot freed up so that someone that actually wants to play, then we'll play it, but until they clear their world, gonna move on to the next one. Same world, but same issue though. I don't know if they're actually clueless or what they're doing, but like they need to go kill the guy that's camping in their world, or they just, you know, reset the world. Like go through a boss room and then reset, or like just jump off a cliff and reset the world, like do something. And the game is having a hard time finding invasions too, like in general. I think we should try to kill the Phantom because he has lower madness resist. Like that. There you go, that's huge. Alright, well, let's call it here, honestly. I think that's enough for today. Let's just call it here. At least we got a good madness skill to finish this, so I think that's a good time to end it. Well, guys, thanks everyone for keeping me company. Really appreciate you guys, and as always, I'll catch you guys up next stream if you want to. Thanks, guys. Let's see who's on right now. Who's on right now? Let's see. There's Oak Bro. And that's it. Let's raid Oak Bro. Don't really have anyone else, so. Alright, see you guys. Take care, Marvin.